Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. I've been making a series of videos where I make cabochons out of rocks that I find or purchase. This week we got a piece of Sodalite. Let's make a cabochon. So I bought this piece of Sodalite at the rock shed out in Keystone, South Dakota. I'll put a link in the description down below if you're ever out there. You should visit that place. It's cool. I buy a lot of stuff from them. So Sodalite comes in many flavors. This is the one I like the best. It's got Sodalite with the calcite veins running through it. I've also purchased Sodalite that's really kind of blah. Thinking I'm buying this stuff here, but it was actually this stuff here. This is kind of a light color. I'll get it wet so you can kind of look at it. Okay, that's a kind of Sodalite. And then there's another Sodalite that's got black stuff in it. Get it wet too. It's okay, but the calcite, Sodalite with the calcite veins, this stuff here is absolutely my favorite. I'll get this wet so you can see what it looks like. It's just the deep blue with the contrasting of the calcite is awesome. So, got a piece here I slabbed off already, and I think we're going to do the 1-inch tongue on this thing. I think we're good. This stuff's kind of crispy, so you gotta kind of check it before you start cabbing it, because you might have a failure. I got a couple pieces here just in case. Now, I would use the black Sharpie on this, but when this stuff gets wet, you cannot see a black line on it anymore, so I'm using the silver Sharpie on this one. So this is not going in a bezel. All we're going to do is grind it down to the line here. So let's go down and we'll take the trim saw and cut the ends off, and then we'll take it over in the cab and trim it down to the line. All right, we're down here on my 5-inch high-tech trim saw. Got it running already. So we're going to take this piece of Sodalite and cut it down to the line. I'm just going to bust the top and the bottom here. I'm not going to mess with the side. All right, that's close enough for this stuff. It gets kind of crumbly sometimes, so you got to be kind of careful with it. All right, we're over here on the Kingsley North 6-inch cabber. Got my shape. Now I'm going to grind it down to the line here. It's not going in a bezel or anything, so it don't have to be perfect. So we'll start with the 80 grit, the 220, the 280, and then I like to hit the edge of it with the 600. So let's get started. All right, that's all the closer I'm going to go there. Let's move over to the 220 grit. So if you're doing anything that's got a little radius on there like that, don't stop on these two wheels right here, because there's no cushioning behind them, and you'll grind a flat spot in there. And then when you go up to the wheels with the cushioning on them, you're not going to be able to get the flat spot out. At least I don't have any luck with that. All right, that's close enough. We're going to hit the 280 grit now. All right, I'm going to hit on 600, but you're not going to be able to see this. See if we can get a peek at what the shine's going to look like. All right, that's just 600 right there. So this stuff is like a Mohs 5.5 to 6, so it's relatively soft, but man, it shines nice, at least the pieces I've done. So let's go up. I'll go upstairs, put a dop on it, and then we'll come back down and make cabochon. Okay, we're all dopped up here. So we're going to start with the 80 grit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rough it down. I'm going to put a 45 on this and cut it down to a girdle that it's about 1/8 inch to a little plus 2 millimeters. And then once I establish my 45 down to the girdle, I'm going to put another 45 on that, and then I'll start doming it. So let's get started. Now this was the end cut off that chunk of Sodalite, so it was a little on the thick side. So I'm going to kind of shave this off the top here. All right, girdle looks good. Now I'm going to put a 45 on this side here. All right, that's close enough for me. I'm going to start doming it now. I get pretty close there. I think I'm going to take a little bit more off the top. All right, I like that. Now, I know I cut the doming, I just chop it in little bitty pieces because it's really boring, but when I'm doming, I start on this end here, and I go back and forth to that end there, and then I switch it right away and I do the same thing. That way, you make sure make sure your dome is concentric and the high part is in the center. It's not off to one side or off to this side. So keep that in mind when you're grinding on the 80 grit. Okay, now we're moving over to 220. Take the marks out of the 80 grit. So this is kind of the same deal too. I kind of go back and forth and switch it. And basically all you're doing is taking the grinding marks from the 80 grit out of here. So I just go maybe a minute or so till either that or I feel that I got most of them out. And then it depends on the hardness of the stone too. This is a relatively soft stone, so it shouldn't take long to grind marks off the 80 grit. So now we're going to move on to 280. Looking pretty good. Don't see any big scratches in there. So I'm going to cut the edge now. All right, I like that. Now I'm going to move over to the polishing side. I'm going to shut you off for a second and move the camera. Okay, we're on the polishing side. Got 600, 1200, 3000, and then cerium oxide around the corner here. We'll start with the 600. All right, we'll move on to the 1200. Looking kind of cool, man. Let's move on to 3000 here. All right, I can't wait any longer. I gotta see what this looks like. That's a 3000. We're going to take it over into cerium. I can see there's some little tiny fractures on the face of this. That's the problem when you buy rock. A lot of it's busted up, either blasted or run through a deal that you know, breaks it down into smaller pieces. Well, it's getting the crap beaten out of it, and a lot of it, you know, you don't get premium stuff sometimes that way. But I still like it. We're still going to proceed here. I'm going to shut you off again and then move it over so you can see the cerium. All right, we moved around the corner of the cerium oxide. I'll put my splash guard in place. Turn the water on. Buff this guy up. All right, let's see what we got here. There you go. That's a shine there. I'm getting a little water on it now, but we'll look at it closer upstairs. So I'm going to take it upstairs, throw it in the freezer, hopefully get a nice clean break, and then we'll take a closer look at it. So we just pulled it out of the freezer, got a nice clean break. Got a really pretty cabochon here. Let's take a close look at it. Here's a cabochon for this week. Piece of Sodalite with calcite streaks going through it. Now the other stuff I showed you, I mean, it makes good cabochons, but it's just not as pretty as this stuff here. This is awesome. So if you're buying Sodalite, make sure you get, I'd try this stuff here. You know, it's easy to work with. It shines really nice. It's just, I don't know, it's just beautiful. I love it. So let's take a closer look at this. We can get hold of it. Get pretty good, nice calcite veins running through there. Nice deep blue color. So the back, I don't polish the back. I just cut the edges and then just smooth the back. But this is the business side here anyways. So I'm going to put a bail on this. I'm not going to do it on camera this time. I'll just slap one on there when we're done here. So this stone will be on my Etsy store. Link in the description below if you're interested in it. But yeah, it's got a kind of tiny little cracks in it. Like I said downstairs, they really mistreat this stuff when they mine it. They runs it through a crusher, probably. It could be, you know, diamited too. I don't know, you know, because this comes from overseas. So a lot of times you get them, they'll have a lot of fine cracks and fissures and stuff in there. You got to kind of watch out for when you're processing it. So yeah, there you go. This week's cabochon. So I got a proposition for all my all you folks out there that watch my videos. So next week I had a brachiated piece of jasper I found, and then I got a piece of fuchsite, which I bought. So I'll get this wet here. This is the fuchsite. It's just beautiful. Nice deep green. Makes a pretty cabochon. And this is the brachiated jasper. It's got a lot going on in there too. So my proposition is pick one of these and I'll make a cabochon out of it next week. So whatever gets the most votes by this Sunday. No, better make it longer than that. This video is going to come out this Saturday. So by Tuesday, the most votes by Tuesday at noon, we'll say, just to cut off. I'll make a cabochon out of one of these, let you guys participate a little bit in this. So get it wet again. So either this jasper here, or this fuchsite here. So let me know down in the comments below. Be kind of exciting to see what interests you folks that watch my videos out there. So I went through all the steps that I do to make this beautiful cabochon out of Sodalite. So thanks for watching, and I'd like to thank my subscribers. I really appreciate you coming back and watching this content. It makes me feel good. And if you haven't subscribed, consider just subscribing. Click down below, it's free. And after you subscribe, if you could slide over and give me a thumbs up, it gets the analytics out there so more people can see this content. So next week, whatever you vote, brachiated jasper or fuchsite, let me know by Tuesday at noon, and I'll pick one and we'll make a cabochon out of that. So I'm kind of excited to see what you folks choose. So that's all I got. I'll catch you later.